GM, and welcome to another Kyzzen live stream where we explore notable projects and initiatives across the Solana ecosystem. So before we begin, would really appreciate it if everyone could comment, like, and share the live stream on X so that we can share the love and alpha with all of our friends. And today we have Triton 1, which I think is the most OG RPC provider on Solana. And we are joined by their BD, Happy Pirate Steve, who is also the host of the Pirate Parlay weekly podcast. So, GM Steve, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
All right, nice.
Yeah. I mean, we have been on a live stream quite I mean not a live stream, our first live stream together, but we've been on many spaces. So really excited to go deep dive into this because our new format allows us to do a one-on-one and get a lot more deeper into, all these platforms and protocols as compared to previously where we did, panels on Twitter spaces. So yeah, I think let's kick it off with a brief introduction of what Triton 1 does.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, first of all. Triton 1 is, like you said, the OG RPC infrastructure provider. So the three founders are Brian Long, Linus Kendall, and Marco Bruca. And they were also three of the original validator set that helped Anza Labs, which was then called Solana Labs, to their dry runs before mainnet launched. So we contributed to Solana even before mainnet. So we were providing feedback. We were running validator nodes for the network. And then as soon as mainnet went live, we found out that you can't run RPC nodes or the RPC stack on top of the validators because the validators are very preoccupied with voting on each other's blocks. So yeah, in a hurry, RPC pool was formed, which is still the name of our GitHub. And then later that rebranded to Triton 1. And we started off with 6 dedicated nodes, 2 in Europe, 2 in the United States, and 2 in the APAC region. And we served the entire ecosystem from those 6 nodes. And if you go check now, there's thousands of nodes connected to the Solana network. And a lot of those are run by us. So yeah, that's
Nice.
us.
Yeah.
We made major contributions to the read layer and also the write layer. So most builders know what gRPC streaming is on Solana. We built that interface under the Yellowstone product line. And all Yellowstone products are named after geysers in Yellowstone Park, actually. So Dragon's Mouth, Whirligig for WebSockets, Yellowstone Jet for sending transactions really efficiently, Steamboat for indexing, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's us. We recently got a grant from the Solana Foundation to rebuild and open source the entire read layer once again. So yeah, we're in the middle of doing that. It's called Solana RPC.
Yeah,
The
I'm just
repo.
bringing it up here. This is the announcement for it, right?
Yes, it looks
Yeah,
like it.
it's super interesting. So this is RPC 2.0, yeah?
Yes.
So tell me what's different here for layman, right? Yeah.
All right. So when you have a blockchain, you need computers that produce the blockchain. So basically, they are filling in entries into a big ledger. And then you need a second computer to read what has been written on that blockchain. It's a different function. Right now, the software that writes the blockchain is also the software that reads the blockchain with several layers on top.
Yeah.
With the upcoming Alpenglow upgrade, which is like a newer version of Solana, if you will. It's going to be a lot more efficient, it's going to be a lot faster, but it won't be able to read the blockchain, only be able to write the blockchain. So we're separating the read layer from the write layer. And we are building the read layer, and Anza Labs is building the write layer, basically. So that's what the Alpenglow upgrade is going to do. So the software will be a lot lighter to run, and it's going to be a lot more efficient because it doesn't have to perform both tasks.
Right. So I guess with that being said, we can expect a lot more updates along the way until Alpenglow and probably after its launch. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the products that we're building for RPC 2.0, had already written ourselves. So we're rebranding some of the products that we built because yeah, we're giving it back to the ecosystem. So it's going to be a public good instead of just being ours. And I think that's a good thing. At Triton One, we open source a lot of our software, almost everything. So there's a level playing field on Solana and more of a grow the pie mentality because you're never going to get locked in by us as an RPC provider because everyone can run the software that we wrote because we're giving it away for free. And our belief is that if everyone contributes to the network in such a way, the network itself becomes a lot more valuable and a lot better. So that's why we're choosing to do that.
I think that's remarkable. Especially, I think Solana has had a lot of flick because compared to quite a few other blockchain communities, we don't open source as much, right?
Yeah.
But I think given if I'm not wrong, today I think Mythos is going to be launching. Any there's a lot of fear that a lot of open source the protocols are going to be targeted. Yeah. Any I'm a bit concerned, right? I've been looking at my app access, revoking all the permissions the whole day.
When you build robust systems,
Yeah.
I think finding the bugs is basically the goal, right?
Yeah.
And if you can patch those vulnerabilities, by detecting them before someone who is malicious finds them, then yeah, I think that's a really a good thing, to be honest.
Right. Right. Talking about Mythos, on the AI front, I guess there's not much difference for you guys. Like you guys don't actually have to build like an AI agent specific read layer though, right? It's pretty much the same.
So yeah, the API, the calls and the
Yeah.
data consumption, it basically is the same. We are working together with several partners to make this more available for agentic AI
Like
through
X402?
X402. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
exactly. So we're not on the forefront of that, but we are the underlying infrastructure for those companies. And because we provide really scalable, but also at very competitive pricing,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to be more interesting for those X402 developers because with us, we can offer pay as you go. So you're
Yeah.
not stuck with a $50 plan. And then if you go over, you get a hefty penalty, or a $500 plan. If you go over, you get a hefty penalty, or a $5,000 plan. But if you're only using half of that, then yeah, your loss.
Mm-hmm.
With us, you can just pay for what you're using
Yeah.
up to certain points. So yeah, that's a lot more interesting because right now there's not as much activity on chain as
Mm-hmm.
there is during, for instance, a Trump coin launch, or a Jupiter launch was really, really a big event.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what sets us apart from other providers.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I want to talk about this pay as you go mechanism because I honestly, so Kyzzen has actually looked at a lot of RPC providers, right, and they all run on this credit package system. Um, yeah, I think this is awesome, right? Because
Yeah, can
we
I can
all
I immediately comment on the first thing you say? A
sure.
credit package. So with some providers, a credit is 1.11 or 0.00036 and with another provider it's 0.025. There's an international credit
Mm-hmm.
that is pegged to the dollar. It's a dollar.
Yeah.
So with us, everything is priced in dollars. So you immediately know, oh, all right, if I make this many calls, it's going to cost me this much, and not having to do mental gymnastics like, oh, this call is 0 credit or 1 credit, and then if I want stake weighted quality of service, it's going to be 10 credits, but you don't really need stake weighted quality of service anymore. So you're going to have to add another instruction to not overspend by 10x.
Yep.
And then it's going to cost me 1 credit, so that's going to cost 0. With us, it's all right. These calls are $10 per million requests, and then you pay for the amount of data that you transfer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. When we were evaluating our infrastructure in the early days, I think at one point we had 3 or 4 concurrent RPC providers, just trying them out to see, because we were just so confused, right? Because everyone's credit is measured differently. So exactly as what you said. I like that phrase, by the way, mental gymnastics. That it's very on the nose. Yeah, it's very appropriate, because honestly, I mean, as a builder, right? It's so hard to just I guess figure out exactly how much you need.
You want to worry about the code, you want to worry about the product, you want to
Exactly.
worry about the market, you
Yeah.
want to worry about acquiring users.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to worry about your infrastructure. The infrastructure is the base layer. If
Mm-hmm.
that fails, everything fails.
Yeah.
How many people were under provisioned with their first launch? People tried to try your product. As soon as you launched it, RPC overloaded, the product is shit because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, it's the underlying infrastructure that matters, and you need reliable, scalable, very performant RPC infrastructure where you can just go do your thing, and
Yeah.
then if you're overspending, have a conversation afterwards, but also not get a penalty like, oh, the credit costs this much,
Yeah.
but if you go over your budget, you're going to pay triple.
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't cost you 3 times as much to serve that extra traffic. It's just, yeah, we try to think from a builder perspective.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm a big fan of that, because and I think this is a very, very good description, because if it's as what you advertise, every Triton product being included on every plan, that was honestly one of our biggest pain points, because a lot of these not specifically unique to RPC providers. I mean, providers in like service providers in general, right? They like to gatekeep their most premium and most useful features for the highest tier, right? And it's
Yeah.
it's super annoying, because
you're only gonna get customer support if you're paying us 5 times more than what you're using, because it makes no sense.
Yeah,
You're
and
a
the rate
customer,
limits
you're
as well.
paying, you're paying for service, and then you're gonna get denied service because you're not. That's I think we don't like that tiering thought. And you get as much rate limits as you need, and then if it causes us a problem, we need to embolster that, and we always communicate personally with all customers.
Right.
As soon as there is an issue, we don't have an AI agent,
right,
where you have to wiggle through before we help. And whether you're spending $1 per month or you're spending $10,000 per month, we are going to help you as best as we can, as
That's
fast as we
awesome.
can. Yeah.
It's awesome. So looking at it, the onboarding process seems pretty simple. So you effectively sign up for an account and deposit $125, which I think is the minimum, right? Yeah, it's
Yes.
the minimum deposit $125. You get an endpoint and token and access all services for 12 months. So it's pretty much a self-onboarding service.
Yeah. So that also made it a lot more scalable, but also before that, all onboarding was manual. So I would be on a sailboat on the weekend, and I would be onboarding people because they needed RPC now. And I was like, all right, yeah, let me, put away the helm for a second. I'm going to help you out because you're in a pickle, right? We onboarded some of our best customers that way. Like, all right, this was awesome. And yeah, if you don't use your credit, it remains valid for 12 months. So if you make a deposit today
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to start building your product, if you use 1 cent of RPC infrastructure per day, and then after 11 months you go live with
Yep.
your product, most of your credit will still be there. It won't. We're not charging you for being an idle customer.
Yep.
With other providers, if you get a subscription, you're paying a monthly fee. If you don't pay, you get cut off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So if your credit card fails and you didn't get notified, it's a hard cutoff, right? So if you're a uh, trading platform, people can't close their trade even if they're starting to go underwater.
Yep.
That's problematic, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
With us, with this, you get cut off as soon as your credit runs out, but you will
Mm-hmm.
get alerting. We also offer subscription models where we never cut you off within a reasonable time frame. So if you're not paying us for 2 months, we're going to have a conversation. Say, hey, you have some unpaid bills.
Yep.
It might be a good time to pay up, or else we're going to cut you off in 4 weeks, and then we're going to keep trying to reach out, try to reach you. That's reasonable. But yeah, cutting off a customer mid prod. With this, it will happen, but we also, if you made several deposits, we're going to reach out and say, hey, would you be interested in getting a subscription model, or if this is this still working for you?
Yep.
And then our subscription plans, they are not like $125 per month, $500 per month,
Yep.
$5,000 per month. We look at your traffic, we make an assessment of what we think you're going to use, and then we have plans with increments of $100.
Mm.
So yeah, it can be $500, can be $600, can be $700, can be $800, and if you go over, you're paying the same price as before the package, so you're not getting a penalty for being successful.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, because I guess more often than not, I would assume protocols cost goes up because they have a higher usage requirement, which means their business is doing better. So it's a nice pay as you go. Your cost goes up with hopefully your revenue. So I love that. You guys also do dedicated nodes.
Yes.
Well, let's talk a bit about this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's unmetered gRPC streaming, full access to Yellowstone Suite, which we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Geolocated deployment. Very fancy. $2,900 per month. This is for the real, substantial.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have Monet and Sui as well.
Yes.
Nice. I assume Monet is the most recent one, yeah?
Yeah, Monet we added recently. Yeah, it runs, so it's great. But we also have shared infrastructure for both those protocols.
Nice.
So we don't see massive institutional interest in Monet just yet. More on the Solana side.
Yep.
With us, a dedicated node is for streaming only. So we're already prepared for the Alpenglow upgrade. So dedicated nodes are going to be for streaming only, and then everything else is going to be served from shared infrastructure. This makes it a lot more scalable and a lot faster because, yeah, the dedicated nodes won't be able to run the Solana software and then just serve RPC calls. That's not going to exist anymore in the future.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
So you're always going to have to run the Solana RPC software, which is currently being built by us.
Nice. So the use cases here: traders, bots, market makers, dexers, perps, and lending analytics researchers. Basically, anyone that's involved on Solana should be looking at this, right?
Yes, we serve all traffic for all use cases.
Right. For products, RPC nodes, dedicated nodes, ledger queries, custom indexes. I mean, what would you say is your top product right now?
I think Dragon's Mouth is the ecosystem staple. So the software that we built in order to stream Solana data in real time. I think that's the most commonly used product that we've built. I think other good products that we contributed to are the Metaplex DOS API.
Mhm.
What else? A lot of the new software will run on custom indexing, and it's going to have a new name. But Steamboat is a product that indexes on-chain programs, and that's a powerhouse as well.
Let's talk a little bit about this because I've never come across this. I believe Cloudbreak custom indexes. What does it do
That's
specifically?
that's the new name for Steamboat.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, Cloudbreak is the new name for Steamboat. Steamboat is an index that indexes the account state of Solana. And instead of just program accounts, Cloudbreak is going to index all accounts. So if you're querying, get multiple accounts from a program, or get program accounts for instance, all markets on Radium, those calls get served through Cloudbreak.
All accounts
Yes.
for all programs.
Yes. All accounts.
Is it even possible?
Yes.
Prove it. This is sick, man. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, deciphering account data is together program data. Obviously, I think is the biggest head scratcher for developers on Solana.
I think one of the most interesting things
Mhm.
with all these upgrades and all these releases, is that all teams will be able to become their own RPC provider. So Solana is one of the hardest chains to
Yep.
be an RPC provider on. For a long time, this was the case. We hope that with the software that we're building and releasing, but also the software developer kits,
Mm.
you will, right now, a program runs on a backend and it's making RPC calls to a different server,
Yep.
to ask, oh, what's the state of this account? How much tokens are in this wallet? Blah, 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 stuff like that.
Mhm.
With the software that we're building, you can keep the account state of Solana. So all accounts that are relevant to your program, instead of keeping that remotely,
Yep.
RPC stands for remote procedure calls, you can store those locally. And because the software is open source, you can do this yourself. And then you can cut away all the fat. So all the account state that you don't need, you're not going to store that.
Yep.
So it's really efficient. And then you can keep that account state live by streaming all the transactions that are happening in real time on Solana.
Right.
So this makes your consumption of Solana data as efficient as possible, because
Yep.
you're only fetching the data that's relevant to you.
Mhm.
And then you can just know, instead of asking, what's the state of this account, the backend already knows, because you're storing that data locally.
Yep.
So you're removing the friction, you're removing the cost of
Yeah.
asking the same question over and over again,
Mhm.
and you're removing the latency as well.
I was just about to ask that because it sounded like there might be an extra step that it adds latency, but you're saying that it reduces latency.
Yes, because we send the data from the real-time data as soon as possible. It's the same as a RPC node receiving the data from the block producer through
Right.
Turbine. And then if you also have to make a call to that remote RPC node, and it takes time to process that call,
Yep.
and then return the data to you, that's an extra hop, right?
Yep.
So if it's 8 milliseconds to the RPC node, it's going to add 16 milliseconds. If you consume that data directly into your own node, the answer is already there. So in that case, you would remove friction and latency by 16 milliseconds. And for traders or for DeFi protocols, this is
That's
really
a lot.
exciting. Yes, especially if you have to make a lot of account queries.
Yep.
With us, It's $10 per million queries plus 8 cents per gigabyte of data that you return.
Yeah.
If the account state doesn't change and you keep asking the same question, you're going to get the same answer. But if your protocol relies on asking that question over and over again, then you can easily rack up a huge bill.
Yep.
And you're paying thousands of dollars for a single answer
Yep.
if the account state never changes.
Mm.
With this, it's going to cost a fraction of a penny,
Mm-hmm.
And you can just know. You don't have to ask.
That's beautiful. It's like a WebSocket that just alerts you when there are changes in the account state.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is there any other products you like to especially highlight?
So we will still be able to serve all those calls. I think for protocols that are indexing themselves and are gonna keep account state locally, I think Fumarole is an excellent product. Fumarole is one of our flagship products. It multiplexes from several sources, streaming in real time, and then it keeps a cache of, I believe, 3 days right now. And you consume that data as a consumer group. So what happens is that if you get disconnected, which can happen with gRPC streaming, the server knows what data it sent you last before you got disconnected, and then it can wait until you reconnect, and it starts streaming from the point where you left off, and then it's going to catch up back to the tip. So this is going to give you a guaranteed one-time delivery, so your data is always as fresh as can be. So for protocols that don't need that 1 millisecond edge, this is going to be perfect.
Yeah, especially protocols that just need like backtesting, like for up to 72 hours, which in most cases is sufficient. This would be great.
Yes, and otherwise you can still call our historical storage.
Yeah, but that obviously, I guess, is higher cost and latency.
Yes, so that's always going to be, it's a secondary infrastructure. So, but it's still super fast. We run it on ClickHouse, which is super scalable and super fast.
Yeah.
Perfect for immutable data. We call it Hydrant, but this is also going to get a different name.
So this replaces Dragon's Mouth.
So yes, it's similar to Dragon's Mouth. It's more reliable. It adds some tens of milliseconds when it comes to, so account state or transactions have 3 commitment levels. The first is processed. That's when the block producer has written the transaction in the block it's currently producing.
Yeah.
The second one is confirmed, and that's when the block has been finished producing but has not yet been voted on. And the last one is finalized. So for if you need processed and you need processed as fast as you can, you're going to use dshreds or you're going to use Dragon's Mouth. If you don't need that, the confirmed and finalized are going to be just as fast with Fumarole, but a lot more reliable. So for most people, this will be the way to go. Plus, it's one line of code difference, if I'm not mistaken. So it's the same interface. So you don't need to rewrite your entire code. It's going to be a lot better for those.
Beautiful, beautiful. I guess my next question is, that you guys have been on a tear, launching so many updates. What is the short term? What can we foresee coming up? Let's say the month of June and July.
So everything's going to be open sourced. There's going to be a lot of announcements from our partners, which we're building this endeavor with. There's going to be a lot of new names for somewhat existing products, but that are going to fall under a different repo than ours. It's going to be the Solana -RPC on GitHub repo. So everything will be published there, open source. so everyone can contribute. So if you're enthusiastic about Solana and Solana's read layer, get familiarized with everything that's there and contribute and fork things, make them better, uh, make suggestions, report bugs if you find them. So that's exciting. I think a lot of people are gonna start wanting to use our new open source transaction submission software called Jet. That's going to be a lot faster than the Solana one.
This one, Yellowstone Jet.
Yes.
JSON RPC envelope. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's good to know that there's a thunderstorm starting here. So if I drop that, I got hit. And if I'm suddenly freezing, the internet got hit. And I'll probably be back in a few minutes.
Got you. No
I'll
issues.
spin up my secondary internet provider. But
all right, I'll be rapping while you're gone. So it's
oh, all right. In that case, I'm hanging up.
You're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is not really well highlighted. But yeah, we add stake weighted quality of service by default for transactions as well. Yeah. So this is going to save you a few more milliseconds. So if you're a trader and you're watching, go try it out. Make a deposit. You can use it for a year, and this is added by default. So yeah, it should be super fast.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to dive deep into this. Obviously, I'm not super technical, but
yeah, me neither.
I know. My devs have a lot of pain points, which actually brings me to my next question. So for new developers coming into Solana, so not junior developers, but like, I guess experienced developers, but they're doing Solana for the first time.
Yes.
What would you say are 2 to 3 things that they should definitely look at first, in terms of both, I guess, available resources as well as actual, services like this?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to Solana. We already did a lot of the glass chewing, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
I think good resources are understanding the difference between, for instance, the EVM client and the Solana virtual machine. Getting familiarized with the terminology is a really good starting point. And understand that Solana scales a lot more. So different parts of the read layer are being served from different parts of or from different infrastructures, which is pretty confusing for a lot of people in EVM. They talk about, oh, so why isn't all Solana data stored on each node? And then you have to explain, like, all right, the entire ledger, if indexed, it's half a petabyte. So that's a lot of memory for thousands of nodes. That would create a global shortage.
Yeah.
And that's why it's also, a bit more expensive to run Solana infrastructure versus Ethereum infrastructure. You can run an Ethereum node on this in terms of compute power and
right.
With Solana, it's a bigger machine. And then, yeah, make sure to use open source software. Make sure you don't get vendor locked by, taking developer shortcuts, because creating technical debt is always going to be very expensive in the future.
Yeah.
If the RPC calls are custom made by your provider to do exactly what you want, there's a fat chance that another RPC provider does not have that. So if you need to switch or add redundancy, which you are going to have because every RPC provider sometimes has a part of their infrastructure fail. This is the hard reality. AWS also sometimes fails. Cloudflare can break. So yeah, if you need redundancy, make sure that you're building on open source tooling. And I think that's amazing from the Solana Foundation that they actually put out a grant to build and open source this software. Yeah, I think that's the second one. And the third one is Solana is it has the best community. It has the best grow the pie mindset, and a rising tide floats all ships, except for the leaking ones. But
We don't talk about them.
so there's a lot of help, and ask for help, and put yourself out there, build in public, because that's where the wins are. And go to events and meet people and ask questions. For instance, right now there's Island DAO going on in Thailand. If you are stuck in your product development, if you were there right now, you could ask any single person there, I'm stuck, can you help me? And things that would normally take months or weeks to fix get done in a matter of 5 minutes, because there's so much experience and everyone's willing to help out and contribute. And if you are doing everything by yourself, then yeah, it's going to be a very painstaking and long process, because there's already been so much work done. Look what's available open source. Even if you're not building open source yourself, you should. But see if what you're building already has, an open source framework where you can build on top of. If you're going to build a wallet, why not look at what Salmon Wallet is building? Why not look at what B-Man is building with Samui Wallet, which is also the name of the island where Island DAO currently is.
Mm.
Yeah, go to hacker houses. There's going to be a big hacker house in London. If you're a developer and not that experienced yet, or you need some mentoring or hand holding, or just want to hang out with awesome people, you should visit those places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest tip. I think I should put that one first.
I guess, yeah, the bit on open source. Is there a place where we can easily find a lot of the open source, I guess, documentation across protocols, or
So
you just gotta hunt it for yourself?
there was a repo on GitHub that had all open source Solana tooling and also frameworks in there. But yeah, probably with an AI search or a Google search or a
Yep.
DuckDuckGo, you'll probably find it on the first page.
Nice. Let's take a step back. Let's talk about you. Steve, why don't you share with us like your journey into Web3, like maybe a bit about what you're doing before and how you got here, and yeah, what have you been up to?
It's a weird one. Let me turn on the lights real quick. Oh, that's not connected. give me 1 second.
Sure.
My infrastructure is failing. So yeah, I started out in crypto. Friends told me, "Oh, I made a fuck ton of money," and I was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me about this sooner?" So I bought the tippy top in the first half of 2021. And when you buy the top, instead of an investor, you become a community member, basically.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. So you start looking for the next 100x, and you're looking for that project that didn't TGE yet, and then you're gonna start asking when. And I got so tired of asking when that I started saying soon whenever someone was asking when in certain Telegram channels. And then at some point I was even yelling soon when no one was asking, and the developers reached out like, "Are you okay, bro?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm helping out. I'm answering all the questions." And they said, "Well, we better get you on the payroll then." I was like, "For real?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can become our community member, community manager." So that was the team from Symmetry.
Oh, nice.
So that was my first shtick. And then I said, "Oh, we're gonna go to Breakpoint." So this was still in 21, and they're like, "Nah, not this year, but maybe next year." So next year they bought me a ticket for Breakpoint, and I joined the Telegram for the Breakpoint channel by the Solana Foundation, and I just started yelling soon there too and calling out scammers. And then the likes of Varshi, who's a pretty well-known person in the ecosystem, and Henry, they said, give this man a job. So yeah, I became a community manager for Solana too,
Oh, I
for the
didn't know this.
Breakpoint channel.
Oh, nice.
Huh?
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then it was 2022. So Breakpoint happened, FTX collapsed,
Yep.
and they were like,
Right after.
yes, the day after. And they were like, shit, we need some help in the main Solana Telegram group. So I became a manager of the main Telegram group as well to help fight the FUD. And then, meanwhile, I was working in mental health care, which is pretty wild because it's the opposite of of working in crypto.
Right. Oh, it's pretty much similar though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of gambling addicts and autism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I the war in Ukraine broke out, which caused energy prices in the Netherlands, where I'm from, to spike, and I couldn't afford my cost of living anymore. So yeah, working in mental health care almost bankrupted me, even though I was working full time with these gigs on the side. So I was doing both jobs full time. So I was full time community manager and also in the evening hours, and then during the day doing mental health care. And then I came to the point where I was like, all right, I gotta have to make a choice, work in mental health care and get bankrupt, or shoot my shot in crypto. And I did that. So I quit my day job with 2 months of runway in savings. And I got picked up by Marco Bruca and Linus Kendall and Brian Ron. And I became the BD for Triton 1 because I was already deeply embedded in the Solana ecosystem. A lot of people know my PFP. And yeah, I started doing that, and I've been with them since
23?
Since 23, late 23, the Amsterdam Breakpoint. Yeah, and I've been having a blast. And yeah, crypto gave me everything. I'm a lot more free now, less stuck in a 9 to 5 mentality, and more, yeah, entrepreneurship, making investments, and meeting friends all over the world, which means everything to me. There's not a single country in the world. Well, there are 2 countries in the world, probably, except for 2 countries where I can just go and meet like-minded people that work in the Solana ecosystem that are able to help me out should I ever need it. And yeah, I think that's a big part of Solana is the community.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love the community. I love our customers. I always try to think from their perspective what's best for them instead of what's best for Triton. Yeah, we sometimes have internal struggles about that because yeah, I'm pretty bad for business because I try to be as good for our customers as possible. So I'm a pretty bad business developer, I think.
Nah,
But yeah,
it's
that's
a fine line to walk, but I think you do it remarkably well. Yeah.
as long as you're fair to everyone and straight to the point, don't bullshit them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's most important. Customers need to be able, in a trustless environment, trusting your RPC provider to, really have your interests at heart.
Yep.
I think that's one of the most important things. Otherwise, you get a very extractive environment in which no one thrives.
Yep. Yep. 100%. I want to take a minute and talk about your name, Happy Pirate. Why are you Happy Pirate?
So I'm big on water sports.
Oh, nice.
So I'm also a sailing instructor. I kite surf. I do normal surfing. I love swimming. And yeah, when I first signed in on X, it was to complain about something, and I had to get a screen name. So I was Unhappy Pirate.
Oh,
and then yeah, and then Vibu from who used to work at Solana
Drip.
Spaces and
Right.
then Drip.
Yeah.
I also worked for Vibu as well for a while extra.
Nice.
he was saying, "All right, show me your handle, and I'll tell you, I'll give you advice on what to improve on your X shit posting skills."
Mm-hmm.
So I asked, and he said, "Why are you unhappy? You should be happy." I was like, "All right, I'll change it to Happy Pirate." And yeah, that coincides with the moment I quit my day job as well, really well. So
Yeah,
yeah, I became happy.
that's awesome. Yeah, and you now have a live stream series as well, right? Pirate
Yes,
Parlay. Is that under your own personal brand because it says Pirate Parlay, or is this a Triton One thing?
it's Pirates Parley, but it's powered by Triton One.
Got you.
So Triton One sponsors the podcast, and um, everything we do is in light of Triton One
Yep.
because Triton One is my entire life.
Yep.
And yeah, it's somewhat on a personal brand, but Triton is also the Greek. It's the son of Poseidon, right? So it's also water related,
Yeah.
and it's also, so I'm sailing on Triton One on the ocean,
Some say
and
it's a
where
coincidence, but we know it's fate.
it's fate. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it's all under the same brand. We're also really free spirited people
Hmm.
at Triton One. So uh, yeah, it all came together pretty nicely, I think. And
Amazing.
what I try to achieve is basically the same as you. It's for Solana interested people, more towards technical aspects, but also sometimes really interesting guests for people who are building their own product and don't know how to market them or don't know how to raise money. I recently had Mark Yusko on. It's one of the first TradFi investors who
Hmm.
really looked at blockchain technology and made a huge bet on it and had a real nice return on investment. So yeah, he gave some great tips about raising money with investors. Tomorrow I'm gonna have Crypto Papi Nico from Archium. It's
Nice.
gonna come
Privacy.
on to talk about encryption.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a really good lineup. We did an episode with Coliseum when the hackathon was going on. So yeah, it's about how to win a hackathon. We had a wallets episode. We had many of those.
Nice. Yeah, I think back in the day, definitely maybe a year or two ago, it was still the case where the development side of things is still the biggest pain point. But I think now that especially with providers like Triton having gone so far in making the lives easier, I think go to market and marketing and fundraising is definitely a bigger hurdle for most new founders and developers.
Yeah, and it's hard, especially now. We're in a build market,
Yeah.
I call it, instead of a bear market.
Yeah.
This is where real value gets created
Yeah.
at this point.
But at the same time, we see ad revenue on Solana, doing so well, right? Even though price is down, and to be honest, the opportunities which Kyzzen looks at for users, right? The I guess the traditional opportunities that we used to look at, NFTs, tokens, meme coins, and airdrops, it definitely is a lot lesser these days. But for builders, I think the opportunities are still there, right? I mean, back in the last few all-time highs, like all the traction was centered around one specific theme or narrative, right? Is it airdrop season? Is it meme coin season? But now there's this like RWA, prediction markets, gacha collectibles. You can, there's so many different things you can build, and um, it is reflecting, right? Because again, ad revenue doesn't lie, right? So yeah,
Yeah, and the ecosystem is maturing. I mean, look at what Squads is doing
yeah,
with Altitude. They built a financial operating system on chain for international businesses like
yeah,
Nike, like 7-Eleven. For those companies, their financial infrastructure is better than ever.
yeah,
It's built on Solana. Um, Traditional institutions with a lot of assets under management are tokenizing their assets, putting
yeah,
them on chain to create money markets. I mean, everything is happening now.
yeah.
So everything that Solana was aiming to be and never was, due to Solana being a casino, Solana
Yep.
being dead, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
We heard it all. We went through those cycles, and right now we're at a point where show me better tech.
Yep.
Show me, especially after Alpenglow, show
Yep.
me what tech is better. Credit cards a lot slower than what Alpenglow is going to have for
Yep.
finality. Show me better tech. Nasdaq, all right, it closes on banking holidays.
Yep.
It's not inclusive for the whole world.
Yeah, not to mention T+2 settlements as well, which is absolutely nuts. Yeah, I think bottom line is definitely that in my personal opinion, I don't think there's ever been a better time to be a builder on Solana, right? I mean, things are cheaper, things are easier to build, there are a lot more resources, things are faster, and if you can find PMF in this market, oh man, you're gonna really succeed when the bull market actually does come back, right? But I
when
wanted
it
to,
comes when it
yeah,
comes back.
we're gonna have to cut off soon. In 5 minutes we hit
Oh
an
no.
hour. But I wanted to ask one question because with Alpenglow and I think Fire Dancer mainnet fully rolling out, hopefully by this year, where do you think Solana would hit next? Because I mean, those two itself would solve so many of the current room things that we actually have room for improvement for. So for me, especially because I'm not very technical as well, it's like we hear so much about why Alpenglow and Fire Dancer mainnet is so important and how different life is gonna be. But where to after that, you reckon?
I think we didn't go over 00, which is
We didn't.
also one of our friends.
Yeah.
Creating a separate internet for this blockchain data is mission critical, in my opinion. You don't want your financial transactions or reading of financial data to compete with cat pics, grandma's update
Yeah.
on the gardener next door, and whatever filth there can be found on the internet. My feed pics, you don't want to see them, and you don't want your
Maybe.
no, you don't. It's a wooden peg.
Send a sample. I'll be a judge of that. No.
No, but I think that's gonna unlock block space. So right now, block space is limited. Why have limited block space if you have infinite bandwidth, or at least a lot more bandwidth?
Yeah.
So a lot, and also, the Pinocchio, it created a much more efficient, compute efficient transactions.
Right.
So you can basically put everything on chain, everything, global state machine of everything. So we're going to see a lot more ownership being recorded on Solana. For instance, stock, but also deeds to houses, the deed to your car. It can all be on chain. I think the transport sector, logistics sector, put the contents of every what do you call it, container, put it on chain, so that port authorities can easily verify um, the contents of whatever it is you're transporting.
Yeah.
What were we going to see more of? I think financial inclusion for those in countries that don't have a financially inclusive system, like Central Africa, like some Latin American companies. Step did a lot of work there as well. Those people, their entire economies run on Solana. I mean, it's already happening. So why not roll that out? It's much more convenient. So a lot more customer-facing applications that are not necessarily crypto or Web3 in the front end, but are on the back end.
Yeah.
So you won't know that you're using Solana as a blockchain. I think those are the next steps, and it's already happening. It's already in motion. There's nothing that's going to stop this.
Yeah. I mean, because honestly, I think there'll come a point in time where we have pretty much IBRL enough, right? I mean, if it's obviously now there's still inefficiencies to solve, which it's you see so many SIMDs being submitted, especially in the last couple of months. I think we saw a lot of SIMDs, increasing block space, and now I think we have P tokens just launched, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but after that, like honestly, as a builder, right, like you literally have everything that you could ask for, I think.
But think of this. So think of computer memory, right? RAM 6. They were always going to be cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And now there's this new technology that leverages those RAM sticks, and they go up in price again. The same goes for block space. So as long as there's new technologies being built on top of Solana, there's going to be a need to even expand beyond that, and that's going to create a new tight squeeze somewhere, and then we have to evolve in that way.
Yeah.
So we're always growing towards where the pain points are, and I think the work's never done, right?
Yeah.
One more hard quarter.
No. No more hard quarters, man. Let's just go up only, man. Like
up only.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I'm not here for the money, honestly. We're here for the vibes and for the tech
and for the friends.
Yeah, we stayed for the friends.
Yeah, yeah. PTSD.
We met in Lisbon on a rooftop party for the first time.
We did. I think it was the Degen Ape Academy one, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I think I'm sorry, but I thought Lisbon was a lot more fun than Amsterdam. I'm not gonna lie.
It was different.
Well, at least in Lisbon, I wasn't wet like throughout the whole trip, right? Like Amsterdam was just poor weather, poor timing. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it a day. Thank you so much, Steve, for taking the time to join the live stream.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
and I had a blast.
Yeah. Catch you soon, bro. Bye.
And yeah, if you're a customer or potential customer, check out our stuff. It's pretty good.
I will. See you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Drop.